Hi friends, welcome to the Culinary Arts semester, second semester, 2022. Um, Today we're going to make an apricot crostata. This is a recipe that I got from a cookbook by Jada, and it's an excellent, easy to do thing. So I thought, let's get started. I thought this might be a really easy way to begin our semester. We're going to start with 1.5 cups of flour, and I mixed some whole wheat with regular wheat. A little mix of both of them I think is kind of nice. If you do it with just white flour, it might be a little bit, or I'm sorry, with just whole wheat, it might be a little tough. So put a little bit of white flour in there to make it a little tender. So to that, we're gonna add about 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of sugar. You want a little sweetness in it. This is kind of like a shortbread crust. So whisk that all together really well. And a shortbread means that it has a lot of butter in it and no eggs. And it's very, very tasty. I'm going to take about 10 tablespoons of butter. This is cold butter that I've cut into little pieces. That makes it easier to mix in. And you're going to take your pastry blender. If you want to do this in the Cuisinart, you can do it in a Cuisinart. It's much, much quicker. But you're going to take your pastry blender and you're going to break up all these little bits of butter and mix it thoroughly into your flour, your sugar, and your salt. Very, very, very simple recipe. While I'm doing this, maybe we'll take a little pause while I get this mixed thoroughly. Okay, you can see, why don't you get a close-up here? You can see this is what it should look like. That took me, it took me about 5 minutes to do this. It's worth taking your time, making sure it looks like these little pebbles. You want it really mixed through, the butter really mixed through. And make sure you use cold butter, that's very important. The next step is going to be adding the zested lemon. I've washed the lemon, and you want to zest a whole lemon. You also want the juice of the lemon, and you want to make sure you don't skip this step. The lemon really gives this like an extra little kick of flavor, and it makes I think it helps make it really, really super tender as well. So I've zested this lemon. You don't want to go much further. Don't go much further, otherwise it'll get bitter. Just get the zest. Got it in there, right there. And then go ahead and take your lemon, cut it in half. I have seedless lemons, so I'm just going to squeeze the whole lemon right into the dough. Both halves. So juice of a lemon and zest of a lemon. Zest first, always. So the next thing you're going to do is add cold water. And this recipe calls for about 3 tablespoons, and I think I just put my tablespoon here. 3 tablespoons of cold water. I keep this water in the fridge, so this is going to be probably perfect. With whole wheat, you might find you need a little extra water. We'll start with 3 tablespoons, and we'll see if we need more. So I'm going to mix this up, get that all mixed in there. Looks pretty dry, but you'd be surprised how this is going to hold together. So let's see. I'm going to give it a squeeze. Yeah, that's pretty wet. It's kind of sticky. You don't want it too sticky. You want it just enough to kind of come together. Look at that. That's perfect. All right, what I'm going to do now is bring my parchment paper over, and we're going to roll this out. First, I'm just going to dump it right onto the parchment paper. Shape it into a disc. I'll show you that. It looks a little dry, but I think this one's going to be just fine. Get it together. That butter's really going to hold it together and make it super, super flaky. And that's what you want, a nice flaky, flaky dough. Okay. Maybe we'll pause while I work this out. Okay, I worked the dough into a disc. It was about this big, and I've started rolling it out. You want it to be a little bit elastic like this. It shouldn't be too dry, and it certainly shouldn't be wet. I did put a little bit of flour on this just to keep my rolling pin from sticking. Do this on parchment paper, and then it's really easy to transfer to your cookie sheet. You're going to run a rollout about an 11-inch circle on the edges. Remember, we've done this before in class. Just kind of push the edges back together like that, and then things won't break too much. I think I have just a little bit more to go to get about 11 inches. I do keep a ruler nearby, and I use that to kind of measure, just to be, you know, a little bit more accurate. You don't have to be. You can definitely play with this. It's supposed to be a rustic tart, but I'm looking at that thinking that might be about 11 inches. So let's see. Look at there, 11 inches. That's great because this is as big as that. So this is where I want to stop with it right now. Here's my tart rolled out. You're going to take about 3/4 of a cup, maybe half a cup of jam. Don't use jelly. Jelly is just the sugar and the fruit. You need the jam. You need something thick. So I had some peach jam that I used. You can use apricot. I called this an apricot crostata, but this one's going to be a peach crostata. So this is some jam I made last year with all the beautiful peaches we got here in Dixon. Anyway, here we go. You're going to spread that jam out. Spread it. Oh, you can see that beautiful piece of apricot or peach. I'm just going to put that right in the middle. You want it to about within 2 inches of the edge. See how I've got that? And by the way, your oven should be at 400 for this. So now you can watch me. I'm going to push the dough up very gently, kind of overlapping. See, it's kind of folding over itself. You want to bring it up all the way, all the way around. If you have a boo-boo, we'll fix that because you don't want the jam kind of coming out there. So here we go. This is looking really good. It's the dough is working beautifully today. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So there we go. That's really all you do. I would go around the edges and just make sure there are no holes because you don't want the jam kind of coming out while it's baking. But there you are. That is as simple as can be. That is our tart. And what we're going to do now is put it on the baking dish. Put this over here. We're going to put it on the baking dish. If it's on parchment paper, it might be easier to work with. Boom. We're going to put this in the oven for about 40 minutes. You can actually add nuts to the top if you want. I didn't have any, so I'm not using any. But this is our tart. I'm going to put it in the oven now for about 40 minutes. And I'm going to show you what one finished looks like. So here I have a tart that I mixed actually apricot and blackberry jam. And then I covered it, oops, let me do it from here. And then I covered it with, or just sprinkled a little bit of powdered sugar on the top. And cut yourself a little piece. And it's like eating a cookie. It's like a, yeah, it's exactly like a shortbread. Look at that. It's all butter and jam. You really can't go wrong with that. Super, super tasty, super sweet. I'm going to have a bite. Oh my gosh. One of my favorite desserts, one of the easiest desserts. I hope you guys like it. Have fun making it. And I'll see you on Thursday at 4 o'clock.